Model.
Yes, you do.
Beautiful Nene Ototom. Good morning, our people. Welcome to the program. As usual, help us to like. And I keep forgetting to tell you guys this. As we're trying to get better in these things that we're doing.
Yeah.
We've learned that it's important for people to hit the like buttons as you're watching. It helps to get rid of their blockages. So please, not only are you just helping to like and share and all that, so as you're watching the program, continue to help us to hit that button. And intermittently, I will be coming up to remind us because sometimes the program gets so interesting that you're not even paying attention anymore. But it's important that we pay attention. So please help us to like, share. People must get this information. You know that we are in a, oh my God, what should I call this time that we are in? People are looking for information. Those that are awake, like our enslaver will say, people that are alive to their responsibilities. So they didn't do to their responsibilities that they are looking for answers. So help us to share this information so they can begin to make sense as to what's going on around their surroundings. My name is Munachim Saga, and I'm here in Houston, Texas.
Thank you so much, Sister Monachi. Thank you, our viewers. My name is Dr. Ekwi Simon Okube. I live in Lexington, Kentucky. Like my sister just said, please follow us, like. In fact, as we're talking, once you come, because sometimes, like you say, the program, you just someone can get carried away. But immediately you're joining, just like, just subscribe, just like do all the things that I need to do before you now settle down and then continue to hit the like button like the sister has already told us. It's important that we break the code and whatever they're using to stop this message from going out because our people need it. And you are part of the team that will make our people to get this information. And once our people get this information, we are so sure that that change they are yearning for will come. So it's important. If you a lover of life, if you are tired of seeing our people die, seeing our people suffer, please share, like, subscribe so that this information of the message for self-determination can go out to them. Thank you very much. Let me join us in sharing.
And then, of course, you can see on our screen, we have a special guest in the house. Oh my goodness. Okay. Um, Thank you so much for sharing. Um, we will get started in few seconds. So I love our topic today. Um, it's very bold. We are making a bold statement, and some people may not be comfortable with that, but we're all about the truth. So we're here to. Sister, can you hear me? I feel like my voice is low. Okay.
It's low, but I can hear you. It's
Yeah,
cool.
audience, please, if you can hear me, let me know so I can start shouting. Let me know so I can stop shouting. Here in America, if you talk too loud, people will say you're shouting at them. So we've learned to now lower our voice. Sometimes we can't even hear ourselves anymore. All right. So as our topic goes, the arrogance of power and impunity of the West. So you can understand why this topic will be blocked today by so many platforms. So help us to share this information. Help us to um, um, summarize the information and share with our people. Like we said, these are the things we've been reading Bible for 1 million years now. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. You're not even reading it. You've been going to church, because if you're reading the Bible, you will not let some of the things that are happening to you happen to you. So we've been going to church, gathering, pretending like we are praying or doing whatever we think we are doing. This is the time for us now to learn what will help us while we are on this earth, time and amen, before we transition to heaven. So some people say it has been long since the colonial masters left the shores of Africa. Why can't Africa put their ass together, right? Yeah, because even our people will say that, oh yeah, you guys been ruling yourself for 100 years now. However, the deep question is, did the colonial masters, did they actually leave Africa? Because we know they did not only stay in Africa, they also gave us fake independence. They hijacked our sovereignty, our systems, and our societal institutions. They also corrupted our spirituality, identity, and way of life, all in the name of giving us religion. Unfortunately, our so called religious leaders, who are now cashing out from the people's pain, have refused to acknowledge this gross and mysterious wickedness already at work, looking at the great falling away of God's people. The indigenous peoples are made to worship what they do not know, and we wonder why we are dying like flies, why we are dying like the worshippers of Baal, whose gods are not only dead but also deaf, blind, and dumb. And we know that this God is created with humans with wicked and sick minds. So today we'll continue to redirect our people to their creator, the creator of the universe, the only one who led our ancestors to the land flowing with milk and honey. We know that our ancestral lands are so blessed and full of resources that every criminal on this earth wants to kill the indigenous peoples just to grab their land and their resources. So it is time for the indigenous peoples and the ethnic nations of Nigeria to engage in critical conversations and dialogue concerning their self determination, survival, and well being. It's time for us to take ownership of our destiny and work together towards a better future for our children and for ourselves. So join us on this journey for true liberation and empowerment. Together, we will break free from the chains of the past and build a brighter future for ourselves and our beloved ones. So I am going to pull up the video of the day, which is in alliance with what we are talking about today. Everything, if they can give their own people fake political process, imagine what they have done to you guys that live in a slave camp. Mind you, we live in Osman Danfodio's estate, right? I don't even know why we should call it estate. It's a slave camp. Osman Danfodio's slave camp. Because with the younger generation, if you call it estate, they will think it's the estate they are seeing on Facebook and YouTube. We just live in a slave camp. So we'll listen to this guy as he breaks down to you how these colonial masters put up, political parties all in the name to favor themselves. So you got you're favoring them. You go on the floor, you're favoring them. Any way you do it, they stand to benefit. So that we can see if they can do this to their people. Imagine what they have done to you. To begin to appreciate what we need to do in order to move forward in our lives. So my sister, go ahead while I pull up this video.
Yes, my dear. Thank you so much. Honestly, our people, ignorance is not an opinion. Ignorance is not an option at this time. This is a phase, like my sister, an era of knowledge and information. Seek accurate information like you're seeking oxygen. Look for it. If someone tells you anything, even if it's in church, ask yourself, does this make sense? If it doesn't make sense, discard it or go and look for more information that will verify what the person is telling you or authenticate it. Do not take anything at face value at this time around. Always check, cross check. Business, you want to do investment, get 2 or 3 opinions. About your health, somebody tells you, makes a diagnosis, get 2 or 3 opinions. About what you eat, 2 or 3 opinions. Anything at all. Most importantly, this thing we are talking about, self-determination, because we have been enslaved for a long time and we didn't even know it. We thought we are in our own homes. We thought we are fine. We didn't even know what's going on. Even some people that came out and said, okay, we want freedom, we want freedom. They still went there to dupe us again. Anything we want to look for, before we get there, before we even finish getting up, they will go ahead and dupe us. They will send one of us with wrong information to distract us and take us into another side that we did not plan to go. That is why information, accurate information, is so important at this time. Ask questions. Do not take anything because, oh, this person said it. My bishop said it. My pastor said it. My priest said it. Even my brother said it. My sister said it. My mama said it. My papa said it. Ask questions. I asked my mom a lot of questions. Right from when I was small. She would tell me, oh, this is how we used to do this. I said, Mom, why? She said, we didn't ask our parents. So I said, Mama, anything that you did not verify from your parents, that they told you and you did not ask them why, Mama, don't tell me again. Otherwise, we'll go and look for the truth by ourselves. And that's how I started working. As a child, I began to work with my mom at that. She just knew that this her child will not just take anything. So if she's telling me, she will say ahead of her, I don't know what it means, but we can find out. And 2 of us will go and find out. And then we'll understand it better. So it's so important, please. Thank you. Please go ahead before the video will stop again.
This double down news, if you have the access, get their information. They are calling out all the things that the colonial masters are doing. They are calling them out. That's with accurate information. They're backing it up, and of course, they are not one of the mainstream media, so people don't know so much about it. But people are getting to see because they are the other voice that is not Guardian and BBC, the business partners in crime with our colonial masters. So this double down news is actually a good way if you want to learn to see exactly the depth of the wickedness of these colonial masters, and their children are calling them out. The double down news is a good place to go. So I'm going to start.
It's a Tory party with a red rosette. The oligarchy in Britain loves the two-party system because it effectively controls both parties. So whoever wins an election, they win, and their interests are protected. The Labour Party present themselves as the voice of workers, as the voice of Labour. But what you saw when there was a genuine leader who was representing those people, the establishment within the Labour Party went to war with him and tried to stop him winning the 2017 election. And in 2017, Corbyn was a couple of thousand votes away from becoming Prime Minister.
You've said each day I try and think of ways to undermine Jeremy Corbyn.
I did say that, yes.
Well, that was a mistake, wasn't it?
Well, no, I wasn't alone.
If he'd had your backing, he might have done a lot better.
Well, he might have done.
If the Labour Party had not been at war with him for 2 years, he would have won that election, and we wouldn't have had Boris Johnson. We wouldn't have had the complete vandalism that they've enacted on British society. That wouldn't have happened. The Labour Party is part of the system. It's the liberal wing of the British establishment, and that is its role. They exist.
Did you guys hear that? That the Labour Party is a liberal wing of the British, the royal establishment. So in essence, they actually made them think they have somebody. Oh, the Labour Party is for the people, we have it for the people. All in the name of trying to make the people feel like they're being represented. But this guy here is telling you no, that both of them serves what is it called? Their purposes for them. So whether the other conservative wins or Labour Party win, either way they do, the royal family and their cronies, they all won.
To absorb and neutralize any kind of liberatory left. That goes for domestic policies in terms of nationalizations, anti-corporate policies, but it also goes for foreign policy as well. There's been a bipartisan consensus on foreign policy since the Second World War. Clement Attlee was involved in awful imperial crimes. Attlee launched a brutal colonial intervention in Malaya to shore up Britain's rubber interests. Harold Wilson, probably the most left prime minister Labour's ever had, was a key backer of the Nigerian junta when they were devastating Biafra in the late 60s, which was one of the worst crimes period, and he did that for British oil interests.
Did you hear that about the Biafra war? He did that for the British interest. So like as we said, the children are calling them out. Listen to this double down news. They're giving you the lowdown on the colonial masters. And that is even more reasons why we should take their hands off our affairs, get our self-determination back, and begin to build a nation that we want for ourselves.
And that's the left extreme of the Labour Party. The whole edifice that we have in the UK in politics and media is built on this idea that we have a adversarial political system, that Labour and Tories hate each other and believe different things and fight it out, when in fact that's not true. That's pantomime. It's kabuki theatre for the plebs. It is two factions of the same establishment party who represent the same interests, putting on a pantomime for people at large to give them the illusion of choice, when in fact whoever they vote for is going to do the same thing and support the same interests. That's not to say there aren't some differences, but they are the exception to the rule. In my lifetime, I've never seen anything different apart from when Jeremy Corbyn came along in 2015 and we saw what the system did to him. It chewed him up. He lost the election in 2019, nearly 3 years ago, but the British establishment is still obsessed with him. Why are they obsessed with him? They need to not just destroy his chance of getting to power, they need to destroy the example he set. They need to destroy the hope that he created, that things can be different, because that is dangerous to them. Part of the reason was not his mild domestic reforms, like a national education service or taxing the rich a little bit more. It was about his anti-imperialism. That is a red line for the British and American establishment. Corbyn, throughout his whole career, has supported liberation movements in Latin America, Africa, in the developing world. And he was a huge threat because the war state is a bipartisan issue. Labour, Tory, doesn't matter. They both support the US-UK imperial project. Corbyn disrupted that whole consensus.
I find it deeply distasteful that the British Prime Minister can use the medieval powers of the royal prerogative to send young men and women to die. Why are we spending £3.5 billion on a war that nobody wants, when a quarter of the world's children die in poverty and starvation, and we say there isn't money sufficient for our own public services?
We are inundated with stories about Russian influence in the UK, which does exist, but is actually way down the list when you talk about foreign interference. The Americans are number one. America has 12,000 soldiers permanently stationed in Britain across 11 so-called RAF sites, potentially deploying nuclear weapons at RAF Lakenheath soon. These are huge issues which the establishment media won't touch because it is assumed that we are the 51st state. We don't have any sovereignty. The Americans and their external intelligence agency, the CIA, have always been concerned more with the left in Britain than the right. Back in the 1980s, they were very concerned about the advent of socialist politics in the Labour Party under the leadership of Michael Foot, who served from 1980 to 1983. And during this period, the US Embassy and various other characters in the UK devised a group called the British American Project, which would be aimed at bringing the left and the anti-imperialist left back into the orbit of the Americans and back into a pro-Atlanticist position. It still exists today, and a large number of Keir Starmer's shadow ministers are members. Just last year, his senior shadow minister, Alison McGovern, joined the British American Project. Anas Sarwar, the leader of Scottish Labour, joined in 2018. And what this organisation does is cultivate the left into pro-American positions. A significant number of British American project members became critics of Corbyn's leadership, including people like Peter Mandelson. If we're ever going to get liberation in Britain and actually become a sovereign country, we need to understand what role we perform for the Americans. The Labour Party operates as the liberal political wing of the British establishment. The liberal political establishment in Britain also has a media wing. They are called the New Statesman and the Guardian. Their role is to keep the political spectrum narrow, to keep people like Keir Starmer at the top of the Labour Party and keep Jeremy Corbyn at the margins. They went to war with Jeremy Corbyn from 2015 to 2019, particularly The Guardian, which was a key player in the anti-Semitism crisis propaganda campaign. Now The Guardian cries crocodile tears about all the policies that the Tories are enacting, but they were a key reason why the Tories got in 2019, and that should never be forgotten. So we need to not only break the two-party hold on the political system, we need to break the hold of the establishment media on the media system. And that is happening in Britain through independent media. We're managing to circumvent it, but it's vital that people understand that The Guardian is not your friend. The leadership of the Labour Party under Corbyn did not understand the power of the forces that were raigned against them. And I think their tactic was to absorb the blows rather than fight back a lot of the time. Going forward, the left needs to understand that you can't break bread with people who desire your destruction. And many of the people that Corbyn invited back in after the 2016 chicken coup, they were still intent on destroying him. Right now, the lack of solidarity with Jeremy Corbyn is quite telling. Senior Labour figures on the left of the party need to understand that it won't stop with Corbyn. He's picking you off one by one. So you need to start fighting back and calling him out for what he is and what he's doing, which has not happened yet. There's this idea which is called Labourism, that the Labour Party is all important and everything else is ignored or marginalised.
All right, I'm going to stop this video here. We have it on our Facebook page if you want to listen to it in its entirety. Again, this Double Down News gives you very detailed information as to the level of wickedness of these slave masters. And until we rid ourselves from them, we will be running in circles. Until wake up and do the right thing by following the Nina's protocol, we will be running in circles. They never intended for you to live a life that you wanted. It has always been about their interests, their agenda, what they want. And it's the few doing this while they are busy confusing us as if we have some type of government, right? The one we have back home where election will take place and we are being governed by a tool that will, assure our damnation, and nobody's saying anything about it. Is going on. It's just that the intensity of the wickedness is more on the ignorant people like the Africans. And these, at least, their people are waking up and asking the right questions. So I'm going to play the next video as well. Do I even know? There you go. So you can see what other people are doing to get rid of these animals from their land. They never intended for you to live any life at all. Just for you to be smiling, suffering and smiling. People will be dying and they will come on news and tell you which jollof rice is better than that jollof rice. That's the kind of elementary BS that they think Africans are interested in when our children don't have any future. We are worried about jollof rice. Sorry, guys.
Nation to rethink its ties to the monarchy. Jamaica's prime minister is in fact leading a push to break with the country's colonial past, to remove King Charles as head of state and become a republic. Ellen Morrow is reporting this morning from Kingston, Jamaica.
This is Emancipation Park in Kingston, the capital of Jamaica. And that statue there behind me is a tribute to the hundreds of thousands of people stolen from Africa and enslaved on this island for centuries under British rule. So as preparations for the coronation are going on in London, this country is getting ready to ditch the monarchy. The government here planning to hold a referendum with the goal of becoming a republic and removing Charles as head of state by 2025. And it's the painful legacy of slavery that's driving that movement. We've been here for several days talking to lots of people who've told us that removing Charles as head of state is important for Jamaica's future and its identity. We talked to a group of students on their last day of high school getting ready to be this country's future, and this is what they told us.
It further pushes Eurocentric ideals because I feel like we'd like to have our own Caribbean identity. And I feel like the presence of a monarchy really impedes that.
Are we really emancipated if we still have a head of government, a monarchy, which is honestly archaic in nature?
It's not just about cutting ties and removing Charles as head of state. There's also a demand here for an official apology from the royal family, which was linked to the slave trade from the very beginning, and for there to be reparations for all the suffering inflicted on this island and for the immeasurable wealth that was taken from it.
We plan to petition the king and to seek reparations through that petition, because as the queen and now the king's subjects, we suffered injustices and they were responsible for us.
Jamaica is not the only country having this conversation. Barbados removed the monarch as head of state in 2021, and several other Caribbean countries are contemplating this move as well. A reckoning for the brutality of British colonialism in this region as Charles's coronation looms. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Kingston.
All right. Just removing him as the head of state is not even enough. What about removing their tentacles that they have implanted all over our continent that are still in operation? Wars everywhere. War. Go there and there's their interest going on. And our people are dying and they are here ordering coffee on Uber Eats. Why people are dying back home for no reason in 2023. Wake up, Africans. Wake up, people. Wake up. We need to move forward. We need to stop playing. We need to stop preventing the will. We need to use the tool that we've already found that met the international standards, and we're here playing games with the lives of our children, with the future of our children, while these people are busy living their lives. We are talking about hunger. If you begin to hear and get the figures that they're using for this coronation, it will feed everybody for free for 10 years. And yet they're moving on with it because their interests are being protected. They will come and get things from your land while you fight, while they use people that don't know their left from their right to be your leaders. Because in that case, they can come and coerce them into doing what they want to do for their own, again, interest. It's all about their interest. Interest. When you're hearing this interest, you would think it's something good. You don't know interest means people can be killed for their interest. It's sad. All right, so I'm going to pull up our sister. If you go ahead.
It's really sad. Yes, it is sad, and honestly, we thank God for the level of awareness that is going on. That's why we cannot afford to keep our people in ignorance. We are cannot afford to keep our people ignorant, because information is very important at this time. Like we're saying, when you know what is going on, then you know the action to take and the right action to take. You will not be deceived. You will not be duped by any man or woman. You will not be duped by any politician or any willing tool from anywhere. You will know what to do, and you will be empowered too. So it's so important that you help us to share this show. Like it, hit the like buttons, subscribe. Those on YouTube, thank you so much. Keep on subscribing and keep on liking. Don't just watch and go away. When you like it or subscribe, it will make this message to go far. So that means you're doing what you're supposed to do. Please go ahead.
Right. So, like our topic goes today, the arrogance of power and the impunity of the West. And this impunity has been going on for years on end because, again, they're dealing with people that don't know how to speak up, or people that are being deceived by churches, right? We are talking about our pastors and our preachers, even forcing their so-called gods upon us. Can you imagine being on earth? Certain people are now subjugating you to the level of impoverishment that you can never imagine in your whole life. And now the person that is going to judge you after you die is their father, is their brother, is their color. Can you just imagine that? Double jeopardy. They dealt with you on earth, and then you will go for judgment to be dealt with. She ain't gonna go down like that. Cha cha cha. So our objective today is to see how the West broke up spiritual, economical, and political systems, how the Constitution produces leadership. And then we're going to look at the 2012 for Aladima epistle, which is a clear pathway to multi-regional referendums. We're talking about building a sustainable nation. We're talking about doing things. Let it be good for women. Let it be good for men. Let it even be good for children. Let it even be good for the animals and everything else that is alive in our vicinity. Well, we're also going to look at consequences of hindering Nina's democratic process. Oh, and we cannot end without looking at the 5-point agenda. So as you run around and come up with all kinds of stuff, some people are saying, oh, bring this person out, everything will be fine. Do this one, everything will be fine. Let's go to election, everything will be fine. Nothing will be fine until you go through that process. And that's what we want you guys to get. We recognize that because of the suffering that be put upon our people for years, that we've tried to do things, here and there, because they've so too much. The suffering is too much. So we are buried here and nothing works. And for the first time, we are laying the foundation for you to go through the process. So we must appreciate to go through the process in order to get the outcome that we deserve. And of course, we cannot move forward without reminding you all, us all, that you are in a conquered territory, that if you don't take the responsibility for your future and take back your spaces, that what is happening to you will continue to happen to you. The 1999 Constitution, the Dark Connection, we know what he said and how it's panning out for every one of us, that they will use the minorities of the North as willing tools and the South as a conquered territory and never allow them to rule over themselves and to have control over their future. What a wicked statement. So if it's broken anywhere, it is broken everywhere. It almost reminds me of, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. You cannot have something that is somewhere broken without it eventually cracking and getting to everywhere else. We know that the West makes sure that our systems, and when we talk about system, we're looking at political, socio-economic, and spiritual system, that they are completely broken and made useless. When you talk about the level of fakeness of all of these things that they gave to us, you will marvel. And we know the reason why they did this is for them to do what? Accumulate wealth. It's all about their interest. Even when your interest is killing people, you keep accumulating interest. 500 years is not enough for you to accumulate this interest, and people are dying. And then at the end, you come out as the saviors. Come and save the children of Africa. They are so hungry. Bring $10 a week and it will feed them for 10 years. So sad. They also set up union and land disputes in Nigeria and Africa so that our land and resources can be taken without our consent. So they will go and give money to Boys So Yes Association. They will give to the government the fuel that is being sold at $10 a barrel in the market. They will get it for free and then give us a little change. And this is not just in Africa, it's everywhere. Ecuador, there's a story that came out the other day in Ecuador, how they are giving them, they said, less than a fraction of what they're supposed to be getting for their oil. But the president was installed, he's been there for millions of years. So his son is here in America wasting money, burning money like water. They also imposed a union and a document called 1999 Constitution, tying us together while our killer, tying us together with our killer. In other words, making us to break bread with those who desire to destroy us. Just like the boy said in the video, they are forcing you to break bread with people that don't want you to progress. All of these have caused the indigenous peoples to become slaves in their own land. Just like the same thing that they did in North America, they lost everything. Now they are all in a camp. There is a place somewhere in Idaho where these people will have to drive 4 hours to get to the nearest grocery store in their own land. And we know, I know especially the Igbo ones, that we are nothing but second-class citizens in our land. So unless if we think we are, Joseph, which we are not, when we go and partake in election with people that desire our demise, then we know that it's a waste of time. It's an illusion. It will never happen. Especially under the 1999 Constitution, even the brother that was going for the election told you, when and swear he will uphold it for them, because he knows that is the instrument that will ensure our damnation. So he said, even though I'm running here, I swear to you guys, I will protect it. Gini ka ha mere at the end. He was telling you the church is the problem, which they are. They also give us an illusionary electoral system with political parties that hold their political system down. So they will tell you that you need this percentage coming from the capital in order to win. And even when someone didn't meet that percentage, they're still declared winners. All of them. So no matter who you vote for, you end up with the same set of criminals and the same set of interests. What is the interest? Preservation of imperial projects. It's all about them. That's why before you can even run, you have to go to number 10 Downing for you to go and get orders on how you're going to do and what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. Or otherwise, we do in Igbo land. Otherwise, it will break your mother's soup pots. Then they will establish media that avoid key issues, thereby holding journalism and entire media system down. So our people are looking for food to eat. BBC will come and tell us, Ghana rice and Lagos rice, which one is tastier? They will never discuss the things that are fundamental to our livelihood. They will never discuss things that will ensure that we leave some type of future for our children. They even went further to disguise as anti-Semitism, which is hatred for the Jews. They imposed it on us, telling us that Jesus, that's supposed to be Yeshua now is Jesus. Mary now is this. Jesus is now white. And all in Africa. So that for us to be worshiping the same people that are holding us down, and now they are also our God. Double jeopardy right there. The same person that is holding you hostage is the same person that is going to judge you on the judgment day. Talk about chaos. I will fight that God. If I meet him, this is the first thing I will do. He won't be able to judge nothing. We hug judge. And they spread this thing all over Africa. That's why we have to go to Rome and give them homage. We have to go to whatever. I don't even want to mention all of them. All of them. They are all in partnership to make sure that we don't know who our God is. To make sure that we're not spiritually connected to our God, but to the fake Christianity that they have given us, that have not allowed us, or fake religion, because it's all of them. The other group, they told them to, it's only one person that can rule you. So begin to serve, just accept your life as a slave for the rest of your life, you and your children and children to come. Nothing tangible that's supposed to hold us as people, hold us together, bond us together for us to grow in our future endeavors. They make sure that I know our log. If it's not in Sudan, it's in Uganda. If it's not here, it's there. If it's not there, it's hunger. It's everything. Everything is always all the bad things. And then guess who? The devil himself. The one that everybody talks about, the most hated person. Guess what he is? He looks like us. What a correlation, right? So the most hated people, the devil that, that looks like them, demonic. So what are we to do now? We have to worship the other one that looks different from us so that we'll be able to get to heaven on Judgment Day. We have been duped, my people, and we will continue to be duped until we wake up and do the right thing. All right, so the Constitution is supposed to produce leadership, right? That's how it should be. It decides if there's a union, what type of a union, if you're going to be a master-slave relationship or equal partners. It's going to also decide who the members are. What are the terms of the union? In a business, maybe it should be set terms of condition. That's how to live and relate. What type of governmental leadership is needed? Are we looking for catechocracy, which I discussed before? This type of government where people that don't know what they're doing, they can't even tie their shoes or put on the right color of socks, but they're in charge of our daily affairs. Are we talking about direct democracy, feudalism, which means that you're in inequality, socialism, all bunch of other things that we have not even decided on because somebody imposed what they wanted on us and we're going along with it. What are the constitution needed? Like, The electoral vote, are we talking about security? I mean, the institution, my dear, what are the institution needed? None of those was addressed. Rule of law doesn't exist. What we have is police state. Police have turned into terrorism because they have to make sure they keep us down while the colonial masters do their biddings. Types of leadership and tenure. Ratification of constitution by the people through referendum, that never happened. So in Africa, it's okay for you to hang up or hang around with your good old boy network in a place, and they will decide to write down constitution that will rule the people, and people are okay with it. And we know they bypass all these processes to ensure there is chaos, there is crisis, there is anarchy, there is backwardness in everything that we do. We saw it happen for 30 years in Somalia, and now it's in Sudan. And they will have the opportunity to stop the war so they can remove their people. Stop the war so we can remove our people, and then you guys will continue with killing of each other. We have to wake up, my people, and move forward. Thank you. Go ahead, sister.
My dear, we have to really wake up. It's so terrible when you really sit down to look at what is happening. Because for the longest time, our people, what was happening to them is that the more you look, the less you see. But if you sit down with your thinking cap and begin to look at what is going on, it's so absurd. Like, really? You stop the war? Wait, hold on. Let's take our people, the human beings, so that you animals can continue to kill yourself. Neighbors know when I say I wanna dear. This one, he off me completely. Well, thank you, my sister. You can see how these people broke our systems. For people that are saying, oh, it's a long time they left. You should be doing whatever you're doing. By now, you should be running. Meanwhile, you are held down because they destroyed all your systems and made sure that nothing will work. They ensured it, and every day they continue to ensure it. So if you want to fix it, you have to start from the broken systems. We want to look at how they broke the spiritual backbone of Africans, the brown people. I say black, brown, but we are the same people. They destroyed our backbone, our spiritual backbone. Why? Why did they do that? Because when we say these things, people will say, oh, don't mention this, don't mention that. No, we will discuss everything. Somebody will ask, what's God's original plan for humanity? His original plan, the God of the universe. Because some people think there's no God. But we know there is God. Because from the land where we have been living, we have been communicating with that God. We bear the name showing that we have a covenant with that God. Our male children have circumcision on the 8th day as a sign of covenant to that supreme being, to that God. So we know. We don't need anybody to come and even give us Bible before we know that there's God. The original plan was to deliver humanity spiritually, then physically and politically. And in the book, the Bible, it says that salvation will come from the Jews. That's the black, brown people. That's what he said. He said that the black, brown people will deliver the world. Salvation will come from the Jews. But what did the West do? When we say the West, we're talking about mainly Europeans, people from Rome, England, British people, that monarch. What did they do? They rejected the source of salvation and changed the names and the faces of the messengers of God, the angels and the heavenly beings. All of them became white and Caucasian. The only person that remained, that they made black or brown, is Lucifer. And this is the Lucifer that even in the Bible, we are told that he's actually not black.
Mm-hmm.
My people, have you seen what we said? the problem is not with Bible. The problem is those that are teaching you the Bible, and which will say, go and read it yourself so that you see the things that are hidden there that you are not seeing, which they don't want you to see. They make that switch. The only being in Bible that the Bible said that he is masquerading as angel of light, which is Satan. That's the one that these colonial masters made black. Every other being that should be brown, they made them Caucasian. Why did they do that? Because sometimes some people will worry us and say, it doesn't matter. Whether it's brown, black, it doesn't really matter. But why did you do it? Is what we're asking. If it doesn't matter, what's the need for the change? Why the switch? Why did they do it? After all, in Old Testament, Abraham still came as Abraham. Sarah was Sarah. All the other names. Jesus Christ from the Old Testament, because he wasn't in the New Testament. He came in Old Testament, and he's the beginning of the New Testament. His name was Yeshua. Why? What is difficult in calling Yeshua? That somebody has to change it. What's the difficulty? We say, okay, let it be by mistake that you made mistake and changed his name. My name now is Ekutos Namadi Begi. And call me something when we know that names are significant even in our culture. Let's say, okay, it was a mistake. You couldn't pronounce it. That's why you changed it. So why did you change the image? Have you seen why the first commandment is, thou shalt not worship any image in heaven or the sea? Anything that anybody puts up image and say this, and you say, oh, you have to bow to it, is idolatry. And you can be deceived with that. That is how our people were sold out. Our brain turned upside down. We started worshiping what we did not know. How can you expect what you are worshiping that you don't know to come to rescue you? By the way, this enemy now looks like it's calling itself your God. There is a problem when those sent to steal, kill, and destroy you, all of a sudden change the name and face of your Savior and God to look like them. How did Yeshua, a brown Jewish man, become Jesus, a Caucasian? What's the purpose of this switch? For those that are religious, in our land, you're free to worship whatever you want to worship. There's freedom of worship. However, what you're worshiping, try to know what you're worshiping. Don't just worship things because they projected it to you and you worship. You might end up worshiping cockroach. I think you're worshiping God. It is quite confusing. Why it's so confusing is that you wouldn't want to fight or kill your God and your Savior, or those who look like him. You see, you will embrace them as people that cannot go wrong. You will embrace them as holy and superior to you. You see, you become inferior. Have you seen what we talk about? Inferiority complex? When you talk about people are inferior to other human beings, you're already defeated in your head. Your brain is brainwashed to feel inferior and defeated. How will you rise up and challenge your enemy coming to steal, kill, and destroy your land?
But when their God that is going to judge you looks like them.
Exactly. So your hands are tied, even in your spiritual mind. As na mmadụ ka ga ọkachi gị. This person is now more than you and your God. Have you seen the danger in it? Have you seen why it was intentionally done? And to defeat you and to conquer you. Then our people are waking up now saying, no, this is wrong. But rather than now embrace their God, they're even running far away from him, going to somewhere else completely. Because these people have manipulated them. And now it's time for his moment of truth. In that moment of truth, you need to be very careful so that you don't go into another error where the enemy wanted you to go. The enemy wanted to separate you eternally from your maker. So if you are not careful how you react to this information, you see, you will miss your destiny. And we don't want our people to miss their destiny, because this is like playing chess. They are playing games with our minds. And you need to calm down so that you understand the mind game and know what to do to deliver yourself. Our spiritual system, with circumcision of male babies as one of the signs of the covenant, was switched. It got corrupted, and they replaced it with a system that allows mentally ill, greedy, and very selfish church leaders to emerge. Because it's a system that makes people to emerge. Like we showed you how the Constitution will provide the type of leaders you have, the leadership you have. The system, your spiritual system, whatever system, if you corrupt it, you will now start producing leaders that are corrupted. So because they corrupted our spirituality, now we have mentally ill, greedy, and very selfish church leaders. These people do not represent God in any way, shape, or form.
Nope.
They represent whatever nation or people that sent them. If they are from Rome, they represent Rome in your land, and they are loyal to Rome. If you are telling them Ani Bonaboko, they will say, what did Pope say? What did Rome say? Meanwhile, Pope is not saying anything, even if you are dying or waking up. All they're interested in stealing all the resources in your land. Some you give them by yourself as you're giving them offering. Some their master, their agents will come while you're reading Bible to steal them. It's all together. Some represent England, and some represent one Nigeria. The one Nigeria that we are telling you that this is slave camp, that it does not belong to you. Some church leaders represent that entity called one Nigeria. And they are in our land building churches, collecting money, and keeping us in abject poverty while they buy private jets, fly all over the world, hobnobbing with their politicians because it's their own. They don't represent the people. They don't even represent the God that created you. They represent whoever that sent them. And that is what they are there to do. They have their mental illness is schizophrenic. It comes with delusions, auditory and visual hallucination. Sorry for the big words. I don't know how to say it. Okay, in Igbo land, it means like strange things. You're hearing strange things and seeing strange things. Out of those things they are seeing, their mind is sick. They call it prophecy. Meanwhile, that's to go to hospital and receive treatment for madness. These are false teachers, false prophets, and false prophetesses that even Yeshua warned us about with their lying tongues. He said we should beware of them. That when they say anything that does not come to pass, know that I did not send them. These are people that are out to defraud our people, make money from them while our people die. They do not represent God. Occultic people have now hijacked the so-called Christianity in Nigeria. They are now the one funding your spirituality, your Christianity, in the name of tithes and offerings. Destroying the raw power of God that we used to know in our land. Where equity and justice reigned. At all times, you have bad people. In any community, you have bad people. But if good people keep quiet, that's when bad people will prevail. So we're not saying that there was no time in our land that we had some people that were bad. But we had a system of justice and equity that checkmated them. If you use it, if you apply it, they will be caught and they will be stopped. But these abominations, abominable practices they brought into our land, what we call Aro in Igbo land, we began to condone these abominable practices in the name of Christianity. Because Christianity does not send anybody to be committing abomination in the land. That you are a Christian does not mean you should be committing an abomination. And when you finish, you go to your priest and say, priest, I slept with my daughter, forgive me. You committed abomination in our land. If you commit abomination, you have to atone the land. You don't just go to one man from Rome, representing Rome, and say, I'm sorry. That's not how it's done. Because our people because we did not atone for these abominations, they have taken over our land. And there's abomination everywhere in the land, thereby destroying the raw power of God for justice and equity that we used to know as a people. That is why our people are vulnerable. That's why the enemies are coming into our land to do whatever they want to do. Our widows, orphans, fatherless are in abject poverty. It's survival of the fittest now. You see how things went wrong. It's so bad that when the owners of the land complain about these evil practices in the name of Christianity, these agents of darkness that call themselves church leaders, we start threatening them with corrupt Nigerian police and jail term, as if they are blind to the atrocities going on in the land. We want to take back our land. We want to take back our land from those importing and promoting wickedness and criminality into the land. We support freedom of worship. We support freedom of worship. We keep saying it. You are free to worship whatever you want to worship. However, it has to be done in truth and honesty. There must be justice. By all, everybody must imbibe justice and truth. Anything that is making you to lie to our people, deceive them, bring fake miracles, you need to stop it. That is not the type of freedom of worship we want. We want to clean up the mess that is going on in our land, so we can once again become a responsible community and a people that worship this God of the God of the universe. So that when we call on him, he can answer us. And we will be able to apply the type of power that we're supposed to apply to send out the enemy in our midst. Stop defiling our land in the name of whatever you're practicing. The women of the land, the daughters of the land said no. Umade Zioku said no. That you must stop these abominable practices in the land. Because we don't want the death of our children anymore. We don't want early death of our husbands anymore. We are tired of suffering as women, because all these things will come back to us as women. Our men are not alive to protect us. Our men are so down, beaten down by the enemy because of the evil that people brought to the land. Our children cannot move forward. Our children are dying in the Mediterranean Sea, in all the deserts. We are tired as women of the land. As Umar Dezok, we say enough of this mess. We want to cleanse our land. Those who worship God must worship him in truth and honesty, while protecting the poor and the vulnerable in our midst. If you're not going to do that, then leave our land. We don't want any of those confusion anymore. Thank you. We'll go to the next one. Aladema Epistle is a clear pathway to multi-regional referendums. In this platform, we don't only point out what is not happening right. When we tell you what is not happening right, we will give you the solution. Because as women of the land, as Umada of the land, we are working with people that want to make our people have a better life. So we will point out what is going wrong and we will tell you the solution and how it has to be fixed. What we are having is an African problem. It needs African solution. We are not calling anybody. Hey, UN, come and help us. US, come and help us. Finland, come and help us. Oh, come and help us. No, we are able to help ourselves. We are able to solve our problems. We are Africans. And we have solution. Civilization started in Africa. So all the problems we can solve. That's why we come here every Saturday. However, we have to be guided by the United Nations Instrument for Self-Determination. That is called the 2007 UN Declaration for Indigenous Peoples' Rights. You have to be guided, because you won't just be in one corner doing whatever you feel like doing so that they will kill our children. We don't want that. We don't want this blood anymore. We want to follow the protocol, the right protocol that is internationally accepted, that people have been using. Referendum is a modern way of solving problems or crises without war. We don't want war, and there's no need for war. But it has to be precipitated through a process which will involve a peaceful transition. That means something will cause it, something will bring it. It does not just happen by itself. Something will make it to come. And that is why for over 20 years, there has been robust consultation by stakeholders, both at our region and in other regions. We are holding hands together, having consultation as Africans, the owners of the land, the indigenous peoples of the land. We are not strangers to our land. The land we are on is our ancestral land. We respect ourselves and we respect our neighbors. So we have been having conversation, dialogue for over 20 years. And we are moving on because it's something that will cause something. Something will lead to something. Transition and referendum will not just come around from heaven. No. You will have to do things that will eventually end in transition. And that has been happening for over 20 years. For people that are trying to deceive our people. You see, we might not come any to attack anybody and call by name now. But you being deceived is your money they are collecting. And there's nothing we can do about it. You keep giving them your money. If you want to sell your house and give to the fraudulent people, it is your responsibility to follow the right pathway. But if you go and follow the wrong pathway, they will continue to dupe you. Our people lost lands and properties following Nnamdi Kanu and the likes of him. Even Owazurike, all of them. Since long time, our people have been wasting money following wrong people because they just don't have information. Have you seen why we say share this platform, share this information, share this PowerPoint to our people so they will be informed and they will not be duped by any cow and cockroach. Aladima epistle is a clear pathway to multi-regional referendums. It is your responsibility to read it. Yes. Can somebody please help us pin it in the platform? That document. If not, you go to Nina's website. It is there. 2012 Aladima epistle. Sit down and read it. It's not much. You read it so that you understand it. Embrace it. It was written by over 12 prominent and seasoned Igbo statesmen who have tested war and seen how bad the effect of it. People like Colonel Ojukwu, late Chief C.C. Ono, and others. C.C. Ono was a lawyer, one-time governor of old Anambra State. So we are not talking of any type of human beings. We are talking about noble men that love Igbo and love Africans. They sat down, did research, and brought out this epistle for people to be guided towards freedom and good life. Our land and identity are tied to our sovereignty, survival, and self-determination. That's why it's important you understand the process. You don't just go to social media and be shouting freedom, freedom. Oh, I'm the president of Obodondimo. You are wasting time. You are deceiving yourself. It's delusion. And you know what? People that are following you with that, they are the ones being deceived. But those that are following to what we are saying, at least you can see some of them, when we discuss some of them, that they are calm. You see them calm and they're able to get a job and begin to put their families together. Because this thing does not require you going to the bush and looking for human beings to kill inside. It does not require you losing your job or your wife taking her children and running away because you are running mental. We have seen people in IPOB that were with their wives left them with children because they didn't understand their husband anymore. Like, are you crazy? But this is not so with this. This is just easy and straightforward because it's your right. Self-determination is the people's right. But you have to follow the procedure. So where we are now is mobilization and preparation of peoples for the multi-regional referendums. You will prepare your own people. This is the beginning of true democracy in Nigeria and Africa. What we are trying to do is not new in the world. Since 1972, in Europe, they've had almost a total of 48 referendums. So it's not new. If they can freely do referendum in Europe, why can't we do referendums in Africa to resolve our problem? Why the war? Why war, crisis everywhere? Why? Because people are pushing it. People are confusing us. People are there manipulating us and causing trouble everywhere. Democracy is of the people. It is by the people. And it is for the people. The ordinary people, the grassroots. It's not for the elites. It's not for the middle class, for them to show Buga in Makwandaiwo. No. It's for the people, so that the ordinary people can be taken care of. When ordinary people are taken care of, criminality goes down. But if you don't take care of ordinary people, if you want to live in a big mansion, they will come and burn you inside it. They will bring unknown gunmen to attack you because you refuse to take care of ordinary people. The referendum will not go through the Fulani Caliphate British Nigeria criminal system. What did we say? The type of referendum we are talking about is not the one that Fulani Caliphate British Nigerian criminals will conduct for you. We are not going through the corrupted PVB, PVC, BVC, whatever that stuff, whatever that nonsense they're talking about. That's not what we're going to use. We are not going to use that. So that's why it's important for you to understand what is going on so that you be part of it. What is your role? Begin town hall meetings in your area, in your neighborhood, to discuss these things. Begin to print flyers, because this job is for you. Don't sit and say, hey, there's nobody in Indinas. We are Indinas. The ethnic nations, you are part of Ninas. If you are Ijo, you are part of it. Efik, Yoruba, Urobo, Hausa, Igbo, all of you living on your ancestral land according to the standard of UN. It is your responsibility to begin these town hall meetings. Nobody will shoot you when you are just in your own doing your meetings and discussing. We are not sending you to go to the streets and carry placard so that they will kill you, because we know that you're surrounded by enemies. That's not what you're told to do, and you must listen and pay attention to instruction as we move forward. Because what we are doing is parallel, like we keep saying. What we are doing is parallel. It does not matter what the criminals are doing. They have been working for years. All they can do is still kill and destroy. But we are here to bring peace and stability to the land. So what we're doing is parallel to what the evil ones are doing. Spread this information in your local communities, in your churches, all the places, town hall, town meetings where you meet. Spread this information to them. Teach your people. Get your ethnic nation ready. People keep going to radio. Oh, Ndibo did us this. Ndi people did us this. Yoruba people did us this. Keep all those aside. Begin to organize your people for freedom. Your own people. If you're Yoruba, organize your people. Don't organize Biafra people. You are not from Biafra. So what is your business with Biafra? Stay in your land. Organize your people. Igbo, organize your people. Don't go to Ijo land and start disturbing them. Ijo land is not your ancestral land. Stay in Igbo land and do what you're supposed to do. Get your ethnic nations ready to answer the question of what they want. We say we are bringing voice back to our people. Educate your people. When you educate your people, you will help deliver and protect them from those lying and duping them. But if you don't educate them, they will be vulnerable. Now, there are people that have been hindering the Nina's democratic process, because like we told you, this is the beginning of democracy in Nigeria and in Africa. All I have been doing is not democracy, it's colonialism and neocolonialism. So we want to end colonialism and neo-colonialism, like we see people in Jamaica planning to do. You see Jamaica people, they say in 2025, they want referendum. They want to end colonialism in their land. It's the same thing. We want to end colonialism in our land. If we don't end colonialism, anything you're doing is a waste of time. If you want, swear in 20 criminals. We don't care. Those people that are hindering this democratic process are living in our midst. Yes, they are our people. Why are they hindering Nina's process? Because they're benefiting from the evil and corrupt system of one Nigeria. They hate their people so much that all they care about is money. They love money more than their lives. The Ike Ekweremadu set of people, the Ike Ekweremadu of people, set of people in this world. They love money so much. Ike Ekweremadu, this Nina's project was discussed with him. What did he do? He went and started collecting money to do a constitutional reform. Have you seen how his thing has caught up with him? And we keep telling our people, this project has been on for some time and people have been hindering it. But you know what? You will pay for it. Those people hindering this project are the representatives of the colonial masters, the people we call the willing tools. They are in partnership with the colonial masters. We call it Anglo-Fulani partnership. They are representing them in our land so that you will know who they are. They are the made in Nigeria politicians, all of them. Politicians in Yoruba land, in Igbo land, in Ijaw land, all of them. Made in Nigeria politicians. Nigeria made them, produced them, and they want to preserve one Nigeria. They are the made in Nigeria church leaders. Yes, these church leaders have influence over our people. So they can easily lie to our people, brainwash our people, and manipulate them, pretending to be praying for Fulani one Nigeria. You tell them any church you go to and they say, let's pray for Nigeria. They're praying for one Nigeria. Know that they are benefiting from the system. That's why they're still praying for one Nigeria. The one Nigeria that has enslaved their people. Even the Coca man, Bishop Coca, that they are killing his people every day. He does not care. He just wants to be loyal to Rome and collect his money. Made in Nigeria elites and middle class. Yes, the doctors, the lawyers, the whatever, all of them, they are benefiting from the system because they can cope. They have managed to read and study and everything. So any little thing they can jackpot to America or travel to Britain where they will give them job and they start sending money and building big houses. They are doing well. The system is benefiting them. So they will not promote Ninas. They will rather behave as if they don't understand English anymore. When you're talking to them, there is as if they're listening to you, but they're not hearing you. Why?
They are glued to CNN and BBC.
Exactly.
And they hear everything that they say.
Yes, but all of a sudden, the one that your brothers and sisters are explaining to you, you suddenly cannot remember because you're willing to. You don't care for the people, you only care for yourself. Made in Nigeria, traditional rulers. We don't call them leaders, we call them rulers. Because they come to rule our people, impose them, they don't care for our people, they don't care for anything. And the Ohanezes of this world, all of them, what are these, Iwanya or whatever, what name? I don't even know the names they call themselves, I can't even pronounce their names. Whatever they call themselves, you know them. They are the people trying to hinder this democratic process that will bring freedom for people. But you know what? Their time is limited. They are made in Nigeria career freedom fighters also. You're talking of people that are hindering this democratic easy work because they're benefiting from it. Yes, some people have made freedom fighting their career. They don't want it to stop so that they can be cashing in. The Biafra merchants of flesh and blood. They eat our people, kill them, drink their blood and eat their flesh. And they say they're freedom fighters. They want to free the people. The people that they are turning to suya. Yes, they now use our people to do suya and steak and then drink their blood. Made in Nigeria freedom fighters. These people are building Biafra with no map. Every day, Biafra, 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 Biafra. There's no map. Oh. And all they're doing is to endanger the lives of Ndi Igbo. Because Ndi Igbos are the ones being killed for Biafra. Excuse me. Some people ask, people from our cousins in Ijaw and everything, that say, why is it that Igbo people are carrying this Biafra on their head? It doesn't even belong to them. Why are they carrying it on their head? Because they are criminals. Any Igbo man talking about Biafra is a criminal and wants to make money from Biafra. If you see any Igbo man that comes, whether audio or video, he's Igbo, but he's talking about promoting Biafra, he's a criminal. He's using the word that will sell because he knows that when people hear Biafra, they will come and give him money. That's the only reason. Because the word has moved from Biafra. Peter Obi told you people, Biafra is dead. The word has moved on. All we can do with Biafra is that maybe when we finish establishing our nation, you can set up Biafra museum, you can set up whatever to remember our people, because we're not going to forget the people that died. It's done like that all over the world. You put things in remembrance of the people that fought, of the things that people went through. But there's no nation called Biafra. It's over. Because we have been divided and balkanized into our original ethnic nations. Remember that the standard UN gave for you to seek self-determination is that there must be a definite map. That's why we're bringing this up for you. And we are saying, please, stay on your ancestral land. You know where your land is. Don't cross over to other people's land. If not, you're causing trouble. If Igbo man enter Ijaw and start shouting Biafra, if they kill you, you're on your own. Nobody sent you. If you go to Wike's land and begin to shout Biafra, if Wike kills you, it's on you. Because you left an Igbo to go to their land. Even if you say, oh, some of the land is an Igbo, it's not you that will decide it. It's the people that live on that land. Through referendum, we decide where they belong. You, all you care for is your own ancestral land, because that's the standard. Definite map and distinct ethnic people on distinct ancestral land. That's the condition. You know the condition of exam, but you want to do something opposite. Then once they kill you, you start shouting, they're killing us, they're killing us. Those distracting the indigenous peoples with their money-making organizations. Because we see you, in Igbo land, we have up to 50 organizations now. Igbo Ghana, Igbo Ekube, Imi Igbo, Nti Igbo, Ohaneze Igbo, Ndi Ala Igbo, all the names. Ndi Ala Ndi Igbo, Umu Igbo Binandi, like, name it. It's not by forming organization, because we know that all those organizations, all you want to do is to make money from our people. But if those organizations you are forming, that you cannot affiliate it to what Ninas is doing and work with Ninas, you are delaying the freedom of our people. Those that are blocking the truth and self-determination message from reaching to our people with their worthless broadcast. See them every day. Once we come online, so all of them will come online and start talking nonsense, what they don't know. So we come, hey, well, they're killing us. Hey, well, they're burning fire. This one is happening. Okay, what are you going to do about it? No, they're killing Igbo. They're planning to kill Igbo. Have they not been killing Igbo since? Have they not been burning the properties of Igbo ever since? All over Nigeria and beyond, even in Angola and South Africa and everywhere in the world. Have they not been killing Igbo? So what is the new news now?
Oh, dear.
We are asking, what are you going to do about it? There is a plan on the table to save and deliver not only Igbo, but other indigenous peoples. You will not embrace it. You want the one that you come online so that they will give you money. We are sending a note of warning to all of you. A note of warning to all of you. You see, in the past, our kings and warrant chiefs put in place by the colonial masters and their representatives sold us and our children without consequences. But things are different now. This is a new era. All of you that are lying to our people and getting them killed, you will answer for your actions. Yes. This time around, there will be consequences. It's not going to go like before. We are here to restore the pride and dignity of African people. No one can stop us. The enemy's unitary structure and system imposed on Nigerians will completely go down. We are bringing it down. We are bringing it down. We will start afresh by re-engineering the so-called Nigeria so that everyone can receive their sovereignty back. These lands belong to the indigenous peoples. This is their ancestral land. You cannot steal their land and resources and move on as if nothing is going on. Why keeping them in abject poverty? That is not allowed anywhere in the world. It's not allowed in heaven. It's not allowed on earth. And my Bible says that anything that I don't allow on earth will not be allowed in heaven. So we are not alone fighting this war. Our people will exercise their rights as indigents of their ancestral land without taking permission from anyone. It is their land. It is their God-given land, and nobody will steal it from them. Their interest will be made number one. The interest of our people will come first. Our people will not have to go and beg some people, some interest groups in the north or in any way in order for them to say what they want to do with their lives. That is over. We are done with that. It's not going to continue. And that is why we're saying, please be part of this project. This project is huge. It's big. Be part of it. If you know you love truth, if you love peace, if you love justice, if what is happening in Africa breaks your heart every night and every day, stand up and partner with Ninas. We're not saying collapse the group where you're eating food and eating rice and eating chicken. Human beings are social animals, so they can meet together, eat rice, and they don't lie to our people that that is freedom, because it's not freedom. The only people on the freedom project for Nigerians and Africans and even the entire black race is Ninas, because we're working with a process and we're following. And Ninas is not like an organization. It's an umbrella for all the people that are interested in seeking self-determination. All the indigenous peoples seeking self-determination. And that is why we're saying, come and join to understand what we're doing. Help us to share this show, like, subscribe, so that our people will get this information and we will do it together. And people will stop wasting time here and there. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Q, for that. We need to stop wasting time. I like the fact that we're already in organizations and associations, that instead of just sitting there, collecting money to buy pencil to give to student that doesn't have teachers, we're trying to make a systematic change, big change, not little things that you're doing here and there to massage your ego so that you don't feel bad about gathering and not producing anything. So you come up with things that doesn't make sense. So why, maybe if you insist on doing that, align with something that is big, on a bigger platform that can actually give our people the freedom that they need. And if you claim you're a child of God, because I know a lot of us are into God, 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 why are you not embracing something that will give another freedom? Does it even make sense? When your Bible told you that God gave freedom and he gave it abundantly, why are we sitting on things that would have given our people freedom? What is wrong with us living with dignity? What is wrong with us living a life that people are, envious about? What is it wrong with us with sitting in our home and ordering Uber Eats and then coming to the front of the door? So we want more. This is not about you. This is not about what you're benefiting. We are talking about, again, a systematic change that will benefit everyone. Of course, we cannot end this show without talking about the 5-point proposition summary, which you guys already know that we do want an acknowledgement of the grave constitutional grievances as we raise in the union dispute. We want an express commitment to decommission the imposed 1999 unitary constitution. The good thing that is a lot of our people now understand that constitution is the problem, but they are not understanding the process that is needed to deactivate this constitution. So go to Nina's website to get more information. Call us up, watch the show, share the show, so that you begin to make sense as to the process that is needed to decommission the post 1999 constitution. And then, of course, the express commitment to shelve for the national election, which you guys have done, and nothing has really come out of it. They're going to impose who they're going to impose. And that's why we said to shelve for the national election until we decide on terms of our terms of relationship on how we are going to live moving forward. And then fourth one is invitation to the constituent peoples of Nigeria to work on modalities for transitioning, which we've mentioned plenty of times today about the referendums. While we need the referendums, so it's not going to be a Fulani-led referendum. So their PVC or BVC or whatever they are using referendums. We are talking about true one that will exactly give us your answers, your true answers to yes or no. And then the last but not least is announcement of a time-bound two-stage transitioning process, which shall in the first stage feature multi-regional referendums that will allow us to decide if we want to commit or opt out of the union. And if we are staying together, there will be whatever we decide will be dictated by the outcome of the referendums. So please, again, take a picture of this so you can begin to understand. So when you acknowledge that constitution is a problem, when you recognize constitution is a problem, this is the process that we need in order to get our sovereignties back, because it has been stolen. And until we do something about it, we'll continue to run in circles. And we don't want people doing things in isolation. And this is not about making money or contest. We are not in a contest here. This works. And I know anyone that is not crazy, because a lot of people have gone crazy because of the situation that we found ourselves. But if you still have a little bit of sanity left, when you read these things and you begin to understand that this is not about us, we are talking about all of us. Okay. And then announcements, we have a Nina's News that you can listen to, the Nina's Movement News. If you don't have time to watch the videos, you can go to this website and get the news. You can listen to Smart Africa on Spotify, Clubhouse, and then on Twitter Tuesday, if you remember, because usually this Twitter, you'll be doing something, somebody will tweet something, they will send it to you. Use that opportunity to send information that Ninas is right, that we stand with Ninas and transition now. We need our people to be in sync with what we're doing. And to learn more, the Nina's Voice org is there. The website has plenty of information, plethora of information that you need to understand these things. And we understand that it can be overwhelming. So that's why if you really want to know more, you can reach out to us directly. You can gather your, boys association or your friends so that we can sort of explain these things to you guys, and then insist on transition now and not selection. So I want to say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a partner in this. This is a platform where you are a stakeholder. You're part of the process. So people get it confused and say, oh, Ninas. Nobody's indigenous. As long as you're an indigenous person, unless if you're from South America, I don't know, maybe you're not. But as long as you are part of the people that come from that land, you are part of Nina. So Ninas, there's no Ninas no somewhere. You as the responsible citizen supposed to get this information, especially if you're giving birth to children and need to understand what you need to do in order to move forward. We keep telling you guys we cannot continue to be politically illiterate on things that will decide our lives and how it's going to go. So if you are responsible enough, it's time for you to come on board, join us in what we're doing, stop playing around with Indininas, because you are Indininas, so that we can move forward. So until next week, we are grateful. Thank you for joining us. Again, continue to help us to share this information. Reach out to us if you need us to talk to your people, and then we'll go from there. You take care. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.